Sir, now let's first begin with your activities since you took over as acting president. It has been a relatively tough time. You had to end a semester which was riddled with unrest on the campus. How has that been, sir?
Well, we've been involved in series of discussions with finance ministry, with higher commission for education and education ministry. And so that meant that we were out of Harper City for a couple of weeks in Monrovia trying to bring settlement to most of the problems that we had. And as things stand, there have been solutions put forward to remedy most of our problems that we had at the university. And some of those have already been put into play in actions, and some were solved partially, and some will be solved by the time the semester starts.
Okay. And we're going to come to that and the issue with the Tubman University Faculty Association later, but let's come to other issues like the current registration process, which was actually stalled due to some technical hitch. You mind telling us more about that, sir?
Yes, there have been a little hitch relative to the registration process. We had, as soon as I arrived in Harper, we had some emergency meetings with the Senate, the Cabinet, Finance, and Procurement. And up to the time I left office yesterday, we've got in contact with a company that is in Kenya, and that we will buy some equipment from. It will take a couple of days for the entire problem that we had to be remedied. However, our registration process has started at a level, so they will do it at a level where they will run manually until within a couple of days when all the equipments that we required are brought to Harper. So up to yesterday, I made a signature to checks involving the payment for an electronic service, computerized service that we are buying from Kenya. And then we have like 5 to 7 days for that to be in place. One thing I want to say is that we did not have much control over the system that had the problem. So we immediately reacted when we had the problem.
When you say you didn't have
it's electronic.
Enough control.
Yeah, it's electronic. So it's a system, the old system that we had being run from the U.S. and all of that. So one day they just came to work and the system was off. So within 2 days, we decided to get together, have a meeting and see what solution can be brought forward. We contacted some agencies, and the one that we prefer working with was the one that is in Kenya. And so within a couple of days, that will be resolved.
Couple of days, but there's no specific time. There's no specific time
5 to
frame.
7 days, maybe a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know many students are listening and
within a week,
they're
5 to
wondering.
7 days. But the process still continues. The process still continues manually. And, we are not going to stop it. It's going to continue manually at the level until when the equipments arrive, then we're going to computerize everything.
Still on the issue of students and their affairs here, what is the expected enrollment for this academic year?
Actually, those that pass our entrance was about 500 and something, a little over 500. And we had a university population pretty close to 2,000, about 2,000. So we're talking about 2,000, maybe almost pretty close to 3,000, maybe 2005 to 2007 students that we're expecting to be enrolled this semester.
And this leads us to the next question about faculty. You are you expected to travel to India for faculty recruitment and all that. For now, are you adequately prepared to handle students, this amount of students? Because obviously once there's an increase in population of the students, you need to expand the classes. This would mean adding more sessions.
In the past, what I realized was that there's some larger classrooms on campus, but the assignment of classes to rooms did not commensurate with the availability of larger classes. There are classes that can take 65, 70 students. For instance, there's a room at College of Education that is very large and take about 70 students. So I spoke with Dr. Wreh, because she's involved in assigning these courses and stuff, that we should make use of that room for almost all of our 100-level courses, 100 and some 200-level courses. We can run that room from 8 to 5 every day. We should put only populated classes in those rooms, rather. And so we are rescheduling and reassigning, reformulating our schedule so that the most populated classes will go to the larger classrooms, as opposed to what was done in the past. I was at College of Education. I realized that some days I go to that 50 room, the first room only, I think it's 50. I go there and meet about 5 to 10 students in a room, and I come on the other side, and students all over the window and other classrooms are filled. And I personally will go and reassign classes. You have only 5 students, you go to the other class, the other group. I mean, there are people there who have been teaching there and students that will attest to that. So we're going to use that too. That's not that room alone. There are other rooms, the larger classes. But in the past, we were not making use of those. So when we start making use of them, I think that's going to help us in a long way, to schedule those classes.
Then for still on students, what about the engineering building and the other building that was the SAPEC building and the annex of where the health...
Yeah, the health sciences building?
Yeah, right.
Yes, the building is okay. It's okay. It's just that we have to rethink and redo how we assign courses. That's one major problem. If you look at it, relatively, we have enough classrooms available here, but our assignment process, we were not assigning students based on class sizes. We're just putting it in any room because they are students and they should be enrolled in classes. So now we have taken cognizance of this particular issue. I think it's going to help us in the long run. For this semester, we're going to see that, that's going to help us. Now, the second one also is, it concerns students that will be enrolled in like Math 03, English 03. We can also make use of our hall, the pavilion. Is that a pavilion?
Right.
Yeah, we can also...
Tubman Pavilion.
Yes, we can also make use of that, where we can offer classes to our remedial students. Students can be remediated through that process. Now, again, most times in the past, I didn't see problems involving the remedial students because they are usually here on Fridays and Saturdays only. So the remedial classes are scheduled for Fridays and Saturdays only. And usually on those days, you can have a lot of students on campus. Now, scheduling of classes, we can run Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursdays. Two days per course. We got Monday, Then Friday will be 3 hours. That means if you only meet that class once on Fridays and on Saturdays. So if we look at our schedule that have been happening at the University Library, at all universities that I've been affiliated with, if we can take Monday, Wednesday classes, Tuesday, Thursday classes, Friday alone, Saturday alone. That means if you come to class Friday, you're only going to do the class that 3 hours run for Friday. And Saturday, if you come, you're going to do that 2 or 3 hours and run. So we try to look at our programs and reschedule them. I think it's going to help us.
Okay, folks, if you just joined us, we have in studio the acting president of Tubman University, Professor Dr. Emmanuel Wreh, and we're talking issues relating to Tubman University. Still on student-related matters, the computer labs, there were issues raised during the last unrest. How far are we with their lab programs and computers and the softwares which are to be used by these various courses which require computers?
Great. We have the government of the Republic of Liberia, and this university is run by the government. And the Ministry of Finance has, in principle, disbursed the funds that's supposed to go towards that. The payment has not been made yet. Hopefully, this week or next week, the payments will be made. My point is that in the budget, we have 30 computers, right? At the price of $1,000 each. That is giving our local, it was planned by our local market. Like, computers can be bought online. Like this system that we buy now, we're doing it online. So if we buy such online, whether it's coming from India or coming from the US, it can double. We can get, instead of having 30 computers when it's bought in Monrovia, we can have 60 computers when it's bought in the States or in India. And so that's what we're going to pursue. We're going to see how we can get exemption with it, PP whatsoever, PPCC
right.
laws, yes, to see, because I, for one, really don't want all that money to go towards 30 computers. We can get 60 computers and we get some equipment if we diversify our process, and that is what I'm going to pursue. So by next week or week after next, that payment will be made. And the thing is, by the time we can finish registration and get settled for the first 1 week or so, we should have our computers ready. But the government, this university is run by the government. It's the government that sends money here for salaries and all the kind of thing. The government agreed, and they already are going into budget, and at finance ministry, it's a process in releasing funds. And so I'm going to say to you that the funds will be released. We've been given a guaranteed, and by next week or week after next, we'll have such funds. But the process, I don't want us to go on the local market and say, we'll buy one computer and $1,000. I'm strongly not in favor of that. But the government has disbursed, such funds. It's gone into approval, yeah.
Okay, and collaboration with partners, like long-term partners, I would say, like GIZ and SAPEC.
Yeah, GIZ is the health, the group with the health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And research.
Yeah, I come to realize that the human resource that we would need for our graduate program in the health sciences, some of them can be obtained from that group, because a lot of people there with doctorate degrees in various health areas. Even Dr. our own, JFK,
JJ Dawson
rather.
Dr. George.
Dr. George will also be useful for that, for the graduate program. So we can recruit a good portion of those that we need. Hey man, in the graduate program for the health sciences, they can be recruited through them, and we'll have discussion with them. As I said, I already spoken with Dr. George. There will be a time that I will go to them and we're going to have a meeting about that.
Okay, and SAPEC, which is involved with the agriculture?
Yeah, to be frank with you, I have not engaged SAPEC yet. I have not really engaged them yet, but knowing that they are here locally, we want to see how we can tap into them, especially for our graduate program. We want to see how we can tap into them, what resources they have. And, that will mean that we have to go into discussion with them. And then we see how they can assist, by what means we can get assistance from them or cooperation, what have you. But to be frank with you, I have not engaged them yet.
So we'll move over to the graduate program and collaboration with Njala University. How far, what about the graduate TU's own program for masters?
Our own program is going to be one master's program in each college. Yeah, a master program in each college.
Including engineering?
Yeah, in each college. We have engineering management. That's how we want to go. We don't want to go directly into the technical aspect of engineering. As time progresses, we might extend that. Well, our master's program in engineering will be engineering management. So that will be for engineering. Education might be curriculum and instructions, what have you, and we have business administration in business college, and it will go around just like that. But there will be specialties. One program, but there will be specialties in them. We're going to own that. That means Tubman University will own the master's program. Now, the PhD program will be.
So let's finish off with the TU's own master's program.
Yeah.
We've been hearing this maybe for 2 years now. So when exactly will this master's program begin?
Great. Our intention is that this academic year, it may not start with the undergraduate program. It might be, our intention is by second semester, before second semester commences, we should start the graduate program. So we're not starting it with the freshmen, the undergraduate program.
That should be around September.
Great. That's when we want it to be started. Now we're going to have a series of discussions, like all PhD holders on this campus who are faculty members, including myself, will form that cohort of faculty for the graduate school. Now, in Jala University, the agreement is that for our PhD programs, because they are running it on our campus. That's the PhD program they run on our campus. And they will be sending about 5 professors. The arrangement is that about 5 professors will be sent every semester. Now, if you notice, there are 2 apartments.
So 5 professors, are they going to be based
on campus?
Okay.
If you notice, there are 2 apartments in the president area there that we are holding. We are not going to assign to anybody. They will be used for those professors that will be coming. So that's how it's going to run. But I'm going to tell you that all the arrangements have been made, and we're going to make sure that that program is run. Now, the graduate school will be headed by a vice president for graduate studies. We have not recruited that person yet. So it will be run by a vice president who's supposed to have a PhD. Now, every PhD, I repeat, our program, one of the areas in which we have advantage over all universities in this country, let me just tell you, is that all our deans are PhD holders. We go to the university library, it's not like that. You go to other universities, it's not like that. And we want to use those PhD holders to handle all our graduate programs. We don't want anybody, except on an extreme situation. That's the only way we'll have a master's person teaching in a graduate school. But we want all graduate programs to be taught by PhD holders. And then the intention is that maybe the first semester, all of them will be run like there's a graduate school in California. It's just a graduate university. So all students that come there, they do general courses together, like the first 15 or 12 or 15 units, everybody do together holistically. Like research methods, education stuff, graduate writing and all that kind of stuff. There are courses that everybody in a graduate program and master's program is supposed to take. So that first semester, we're going to run them with those. Now, for our PhD students, the idea is that they're going to run for 1 full year academics. 1 full year they run academics. That means professor will be coming this that. Then after that, the second and third years or more, they will be periodically going to Sierra Leone at the University of Jala University's campus to run after their writings, their proposals, and how to write their thesis or their dissertation or all that. So I want to repeat, the minimum time required for that PhD program will be 3 years. One year out of the 3, that will be used, that will be classroom, time to teach and all that. After that, they will periodically be going to Jala University to run after that research and what have you.
Okay, now most people will also be concerned about the cost of these programs. First, let's begin with the master's program. Have you come up with a cost?
Yes, we're not going to use a different cost. We're going to just go with what the University of Jala is running. They have a fair there for the graduate programs, and they have specific one there for foreign students. The understanding will be that we have to bridge a gap. Maybe if they're taking $10,000 per academic year for the graduate program.
That's for the PhD.
For the PhD, great, because it's coming, it's they are offering but on our campus, so there'll be some percentage of that particular amount given to the university, Tubman University, because it's been run on our campus.
So this means that you're not in a position to divulge that amount to the public right now.
No, not because we are not. We have not consummated.
What about the masters, which will be run?
It will be half of whatsoever that is run for the doctorate will be for the masters. About half.
That's going to be pretty costly.
Relative to what? What are you comparing it to?
To LU, for example.
You know LU program. Some students pay about $900 to $1,000 in LU per semester. I taught the graduate school at University of Liberia.
So say Tubman University might be like $1,500 per.
I mean, something but we are not going to be very expensive. We're not going to exceed what the University of Liberia does. But I don't want to be specific to give you the figure until the Senate have to meet and we decide, and then it has to be relative to what our masters will not be a problem because it's being run by our university. So we will look at what LU offers, and then we try to tweak it to our local standard. What we are not too sure of will be the program from Jala. Maybe they might say, okay, let's run the same way we run, but this is going to be because our foreign students there, they charge them different amount, then they just charge our locals. So once we consummate that issue is finalized and stuff like that, then we can tell the public. But it will not be something that our graduate students will have problem to afford, because we preparing that PhD program for most people that already have masters in the system. So the salary deductions and all that kind of thing can go periodically, stuff like that.
Okay, folks, if you just joined us, we are here in conversation with the acting president of Tubman University, Professor Dr. Emmanuel Leon C. Wreh. So let's move over to the issue of salary. And firstly, there was a memorandum of understanding signed between your administration and the Tubman University Faculty Association, which led the Go Slow on some months ago. Firstly, how much of a percentage of that MOU with TUFA have you achieved so far?
Cannot be exact. I will not be exact on a percentage, but I think a reasonable percentage have been obtained. The allowances that should have been paid to them, the government paid more than half of that. And The second payment.
When you say allowances that should have been paid, is it like arrears or something?
Yeah, arrears.
Okay.
On housing. But all the overloads have been paid. All overloads that the university was owing were paid in succession, like 2 months, like that, 2 semesters.
They were also agitating for pay raises.
There was pay raise. The problem is this. I don't know what happened in the past. There were some people who were faculty and they were making more than what the required rankings require that it should be paid. Are you listening to me?
Mm-hmm.
We don't establish that. The government of Liberia established. So when we went with TUFA representatives at the Ministry of Finance, and they were discussing the raise in pay, we found out that some people, for instance, I'll give you an example, right?
Right.
Let's assume an instructor supposed to be paid $1,200, and there is an instructor already being paid $1,100, or 1,000. Maybe he was getting 1,001, right? But then the first adjustment will put you to 1,002. But
you said first adjustment, sir?
Okay, let me just go.
Are there going to be several adjustments?
Let me just go away.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, let's assume an instructor shall be paid $900 US by the scale of the government of Liberia. When they put it on the screen, they found that instructor X is already being paid 1,100, even though he's supposed to be paid 900 by the scale of the government.
Right.
But they find out the person is already 1,001. Well, so the advice from the ministry is that, you know what happened? We're not touch the person saying already being given him 1,001 instead of be making 900. We're not going to touch that 1,001. We're not going to add, nor subtract. We just leave it. Are you understanding me? Now, so those who were rightly placed on a particular scale, theirs were adjusted. There are few people, they're not more than 5, that were in the university and making more than what they're supposed to be making. So when you hear you going around, oh, no, we see adjustments. No, there were adjustments. And TUFA members were there to verify that.
Mm. And
I'm going to give you an example. Assuming that somebody was in a position and making something higher, and the person's position was changed to instructor, they went with a higher salary. Are you with me?
Okay, so those are some of the instances why they had...
They went with a higher salary. So the person says, oh, no. They won't reduce it. We said, no, you can't reduce it. So it's okay, but we're not touching anything yet. The person already making more than what they're supposed to be getting. And, and I entered university before some of the problems, they were already here. Some people were already in positions. I don't know how they were making what they were making. But when we went through the Ministry of Finance and we're doing all these things, they told us, no, this is a position at the University of Bureau. This position is a commensurate with the salary. But the person already making that. So there might be a few people that might affect. That does not necessarily imply that there was no salary increment. So there are a lot of TUFA members that would tell you that the salary had increased. A greater portion, 97% and 8% of them would tell you that they saw a difference. Now, the difference might be maybe $50, $100. This thing are going in 2 stages. This salary adjustment, that's the first stage you went through. So if for instance, if your salary was to be adjusted by $200, the first adjustment will be 100 or 100 and something. So there will be a second one, which may take effect maybe before the semester starts or immediately after the semester starts.
Why don't you just adjust once and for all?
No, it's not us.
Okay.
It's the finance ministry. It's not the university. Finance ministry said, no, we're not going. The same way with the University of Liberia. Same way rolling you over to the University of Liberia scale. The University of Liberia, we say, okay, we did the first adjustment. After 1 or 2 months, the second one hit in, and you'll get a full payment now. That's what was done by the government. And again, I will repeat, there were some people here in this university that were making more than what they should have been making. And so you'll not see any effect of that adjustment done to that salary.
Now, the issue of Ministry of Finance taking over Tubman University's payroll, are we near that now, or that's not going to happen anymore?
Let me just make it clear to you guys, by this week, I'll be going to Monrovia. We're supposed to be traveling to India, and I'm supposed to be in Monrovia to get the official passport. My administrative assistant has already his already been approved because he was there. You have to be there with your passport size and all that to do that. So I have to be there for that to be approved. And when I'm there, I'm going to go to finance ministry. They have to be very assertive on that. What's going to happen? Whether they're going to take that or not. But to be frank with you, we will be in a greater position if they don't. Because they are on the side of the republic. There are a lot of things that the university does that is very beneficial to employees, and that you don't see happening in other government-run institutions.
If Ministry of Finance doesn't take over the payroll of Tubman University, it's going to continue to raise dissent amongst faculty and staff, because this is one of the major issues that people had with the institution. People claimed that the finance office is in a habit of cutting people's monies.
But that is why we went there with TUFA. That's why they sent us the pay to do. That's why we give it to TUFA.
So TUFA is satisfied with
the whole structure that the ministry approves was given to the administration of TUFA, and the administration of TUFAs have to be responsible for that too. They don't have to spread it around everybody. It's there with them. So the government said, okay, we're giving you $2. They have the whole template. So if there's any problem, the government said they're giving you $2, and you don't receive that $2 today, the executive will tell you that $2. The government say, why you get it? The executive will make a case. But a majority of employees at this university, to be frank with you, will come to the university for what we call salary advancement, or they want to pay school fees for the people and all that. And the university goes in her covers and pre-finances whatsoever they want, and later on they pay. Those are all the things that will be affected if the government is not sending the money to the University of Liberia, to the Tubman University, because Tubman University will have no control over whether they should deduct or not deduct. Are you understanding me? Mm-hmm. So if the government pays the salary, the government pays it, then you have no right here to go to the Tubman University for any advancement. Then nobody has that right to do that, because we are not controlling your money.
And salary deduction for fees and
yes, we cannot do that. So that's one of the things that when I get to Monrovia we'll have to finalize. So people have to. There's a give and take about this, and there's a give and take about that. To me, to be very frank with you, TUFA had grounds to say that, look, we don't trust that what the government is paying us, that is. Well, we went to the government sent us a template, and that template has been provided to TUFA. So that's it. If the government said that $10 we're paying you, and $10 doesn't come, I would have you should have $10, $10 is able to get $10, then that's a problem.
Okay, so, sir, let's look at the issue of housing. Monies were paid retroactive to faculty who lived off campus and who had their salaries deducted for housing. I think you just mentioned that you paid them back.
Yes, now, pay them a certain portion.
Okay.
Yeah,
now, recently also a committee was set up to review that free housing and even. Don't you think that's a conflict there?
No, it doesn't.
Won't that bring more problems?
It doesn't. If the committee will present to us their findings, and TUFA we collaborate with TUFA. They have instructors and faculties and professors, assistant professors, all of them there. So they brought it to me and presented it to me. My executives, or how you call them, we're going to call TUFA. And after we go through it, we'll say, look, a committee was set up, and this is what he proposed. Here you are. For us to exist here, we cannot just be faculty like me. I'm the president, acting president. When there will be money, where I live, I will be charged too for living there. So the idea is this. If you were to go, if you were to start driving, going to Agricultural College and look on your left, you see a construction has been started there. We're trying to put up 8 units, 8 housing units to be named Dane's Quarters. Now, When that is completed, all those are in the Dean's Quarter now. The Deans will move there, and other faculty members will shift to where the Deans are, and other people will be prepared to move in those places. Now, if we're going to live there, we have to pay a token, pay something. Now, the administration does not want to repeat what was being done in the past. They collect the money for the month, then they spend it. Then the next month they collect the money, spend it. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to set up a committee of TUFA, one TUFA member, one academic staff, one member, no, academic is TUFA, one administrative, and one non-academic staff. 3 of them will be signatories to that account. If we say, if you live in this one-bedroom place, you pay $10 or $50 or whatever, that money will be taken by the university administration and then paid in that place and will be kept for a period of 12 months. Because what we plan to do now, that the new construction are going on, how we're going to pay for it. At the end of the 12 months, we pay it to the contractor. We start, when that contract is finished, we start another 1 or 2 units. We start another 1 or 2 units. And so within 5 years, we would have had several units available. At least then the university will not be going out to rent places here and there, and we'll have more housing units for our faculty. So I repeat, the university will not use that money. The 3 people will be signatories to that account. It will be kept. After 12 months, payment will be made to the contractors. And then with the next year, we see where we can start another contract and so forth. So that's what we've started doing.
Well, Doc, actually, my point is the fact that you had to pay people back for monies they had paid before for housing.
Not necessarily paid. It's not necessarily paid. It's agreement that all the university supposed to give us housing. And for the past 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, the university have not been giving me housing.
What about for those who had housing and were charged over the period?
That's what I'm saying.
Before you.
That's what I'm saying. Before
are you going to pay them back?
No. No. The money was being used for according to them to maintain or what have you. Okay. So that's what they were doing. They take the money for the month. By the time the month ends, they say it's used.
But
so we're not going that way.
Those deductions have been stopped for now.
They have been stopped for now. But for this new academic year that coming, that's why we set up a committee that made a proposal. We're not going to implement that proposal. We're going to meet with TUFA. Say, TUFA, this is the problem we had with in the past. And this is a solution we want to bring forward. And we set up a committee. These are the findings of the committee. What do you say? That discussion. We are colleagues here. We work together. What's the best thing you think we can do? This is our plan. What do you think? And for this community, for us to live in a sustainable environment that will require people being in housing units who are faculty members, we must have more units. So that we cannot go back where we came from. So that's why we're proposing this. So they already started the foundations for the 8 units. And we have, I think, 6 days, right? There'll be other 2 units that other faculty members can go in. Then the former Dean Quarter will be cleared. Faculties will come and move there. Then the other units they left will be also available for other faculties. So it makes a lot of sense. We don't want to touch that money. That money will be kept. After every 12 months, we pay the contractors, and we'll move on. And once they continue to pay, maybe every year we can make 2 units available to them until we reach a point. We'll say, okay, we have reached our point, threshold, we cannot go any further. All our faculties now can be housed and stuff like that. But TUFA has to have an input. So that committee was set up and the committee came up with findings. The next level now will be, we will call TUFA and say, this is the finding that come. How can we sit together now and profile a better solution to this problem that we have?
We have with us in studio the acting president of Tubman University, Professor Dr. Emmanuel Leon C. Wreh, and we're talking TU matters right now. So let's move over to the your trip to India. your critics are saying you should not be the one going to India to scout for professors, because it's not in every field that you will be versed. So why don't you maybe...
It's a good suggestion. But you know, there's something they call donor's choice. You see, when donors donate money to Liberia, they tell you this is what we want to do, this is what I want to do. This is not a budgetary matter. We went and explained to the finance minister, and the finance minister said, Dr. Wreh, I'm going to send you and your administrative assistant, 2 of you, to India to go do this. They didn't say, okay, we'll send money to the university decide who to select. No. That was not my choice. The Minister of Finance told me, said, Dr. Wreh, I'm sending you. And to be very clear with you, the Minister of Finance was my student before at the University of Liberia. I taught him there. He knows me very well, and I know him very well. He respects me, and I respect him also. And so he said, Dr. Wreh, I think you can do this. We're going to send this, that you and blah, 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 your assistant. He said, Prof, I didn't say that. So what do you want me to do? To say, okay, no, Minister of Finance do this or no? It's not budgetary matter. It's not in our budget to do that.
Your critics also accuse you, and this is something you discussed in a mass meeting recently, accuse you of selectively promoting some staff. How would you respond to that, sir?
I don't know when they say selective, because in collaboration with...
They made reference to people in the library
in collaboration with my Senate, the President's Senate, right? Those appointments were made. Now, they were not technically appointments. We look at our salary scales, and we found out that people were in positions and they were not being paid what the position they were in. For instance, there is for administrative assistants, all administrative assistants are to make about $500 something. And there were people that were administrative assistants were making less than that. And so what we did, I look at it, I said, well, that's one of the things that bringing the problems in the university. Well, I have to adjust it. How did I adjust that? One vice president, one associate VP resigned. 17 people were retired. The money that was supposed to go to them were in the pot. I look at it and say, no, we have to take a very serious action about this money. Otherwise, I don't want it to be coming and be used for another purpose. Or the ministry say, okay, people retire people, somebody resigns, so we hold on to the money. Since the money is still going to come, let's see how we can make adjustments that will affect non-academic staff, because the finance minister was already working on academic staff stuff. And so that's how we sat down and we started to make these adjustments. In that same stuff, we made the positions for the vice president for graduate studies.
We're hearing this thing about a loan scheme from NASCOP. You got any idea on that?
No, that NASCOP is the loan scheme with NASCOP didn't work out. We went and talked and discussed with them that percentage rate was too high.
Wow,
so we went to the bank we were operating with, the bank the university operates with.
EcoBank.
We went to EcoBank. And EcoBank gave us the proposed stuff to us. They said, well, if we're going to buy into that loan scheme that they have, there will be deduction directly from the account of those that would have those loans. Because at a bank, we get our salary from. So they have that percentage, and they have the period that the loan going to last. They have 1 year loan, 2 years loan, 3 years loan. And that's the second way we're going to go now, since we're not going to do that salary, that salary deduction stuff. Great. So they say, okay, this is what we have. There are loans. Based on your salary, that's the loan you're going to take.
So what's the percentage?
I'm not very sure of what our percentage is going to be, but they sent us a document. By Monday, we're going to go through it. And they're willing to give loan for car if you want to buy the car. If your salary can afford that, they're giving loan for people that want to buy a house, and other loans. And 1 year term loan, 2 year terms loan, 3 year terms loan. That is, if our salary kicks in, right? For instance, if they made a plan you're going to sit with them. They're going to make a plan. Maybe the loan you took requires that you pay $100 every month. Before you get your salary, they would have deducted that $100. You understand what I'm saying? Great. But we want, when we, at the beginning of the school year, for us to call everybody, academic staff, non-academic staff, because we don't want a situation where somebody will say that a meeting was not held. So when we call everybody, this is what the bank is offering us. Because we want to have the luxury of the university using our own money to give people loans. As I said to you, we are the only higher institution of learning sponsored by the government that does that. So that's why we're going through the bank, so that the loan can be a bank loan, but they use the university as a guarantor. You know what I'm saying? Great. But we have to discuss this with no academic staff.
How soon that will be? Because many people are happy about the idea. There's this loan group in Plibo. There's also another one in Ganta, which have very, very exorbitant interest rates, and people are like slaves to them.
Yeah, that's what. So from the beginning of the semester, when everybody should have returned, we're going to have a general meeting. And we'll discuss it. It's a very good thing because the university has been doing well, to be frank. That credit thing, the university, that's the thing that the university shouldn't be doing. Because the money that we use to credit, that money is supposed to be used on other things on the campus. So once the bank agrees in principle, they send us the document and everything. We get to discuss with our people, and this is what we're doing. Once you employ, as a full-time employee in the university, you will be entitled, depending on what your salary is that the loan you're going to get. And before that salary, before you get it, that they would take that monthly payment from them and stuff like that. That is we already went to them, we had discussion with them, and already sent us the whole document. We discuss that document next week, and then immediately as we resume, they just want us to sign that paper, but we cannot sign it without having a meeting with the people. Staff, non-academic staff and academic staff.
There's this new staff association which is still in its formative stages. Have you heard about it? And
is it non-academic?
It's non-academic. It's staff, support staff.
Yeah, I will encourage, to be frank with you, it's a healthy thing for a university to have an academic staff association and a non-academic staff association. So, provided they are guided by rules. You understand? So I'll be somebody to support them to say, okay, you guys need to form a non-academic staff association. So I'm in favor of that. And the same way I'm in favor of TUFA being in existence, because TUFA will help in certain decision-making processes. They will advise and will also implement some of the programs that we have.
In closing, sir, what are you going to say to the university community and the public listening right now?
First and foremost, to the students, I want to say that there have been a little hitch in our registration process that we found solution to. And the registration process is on. It's being done manually. I'm encouraging all students to go through the process. Within 7 days, when the equipments and everything are brought in, then we'll resort to our electronic system. That's one. Number two, to our faculty and our non-academic staff, I just want to encourage everybody that the office of the acting president is available. Anytime we have any issues, any problem we don't understand, the office is open at any time. You can walk in and a discussion can be held. I don't want people to jump into conclusions on issues that all of us can partner with and solve. Most of the problems that we have at Tubman University can easily be solved by us, nobody else. So all of us need to get on deck and discuss these problems, reason out these problems, and come together to bring solutions to the problems. I repeat, I don't want anybody jumping into conclusion. The office and the doors of the acting president are available. Come in anytime if you have questions, so that all of us together can bring solution. And TU can be a better, safe place to study, to learn. Those of you that are interested in the graduate program, in the master's or PhD program by Jala University, master program by TU, by second semester, that program is going to kick in. All arrangements and everything will be put together during this first semester time. That is, recruiting faculty to support the faculty that we already have, recruiting students, and stuff like that. Everything will be done this first semester. One thing that I didn't add to the discussion was that we are interested in also running programs in Zwedru and Greenville. That is, running Tubman University programs, specifically in business and education, for the first 2 years in Greenville and Zwedru. We will have more discussion about this, and hopefully by next semester we want to kick this into effect too. Because there are a lot of people in Greenville and Zwedru who are working. They cannot afford leaving their jobs in Greenville, but they want to go to school, they want to go to university.
You're stretching yourself too thin, sir.
It's not being stretched. It's not being stretched. Recruitment, that area will take care of itself. There are people in Zwedru that have master's degree or above. There are people in Greenville that have master's degree or above. We're not going to take people and that's why we're taking only education and business. There's a reason why we want to take only education and business. And so this university is not for Maryland County alone. It's for Maryland, Sino, Grand Jide, Riverdale, and Maryland.
Grand Crew.
Grand Crew, rather. So we cannot, this university, most people can afford to come from Grand Crew here, to come from Riverdale here. So Grand Crew, Maryland, Riverdale, okay, it's okay. But it's a challenge for most people that are in Grand Jide and Sino, who they have jobs there. They're willing to go to university. So we have to create that opportunity. The program, when operator, will take care of itself. If it cannot, then it will not be operated. If it cannot take care of itself, then we will not operate it. So we're going to do all those studies. We're going to send people there in Greenville and in Israel. Because the university has to take care of all these people in the counties. It's not for Maryland alone. So that's what we intend doing. So people in those counties should be aware this semester we'll be sending people out there to do feasibility studies for all that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel C.A. Wreh. My name is Rochford Gartner. Thanks for listening.